What's up everyone, it's Adam from Life of Adam. Came back with a brand new video. And today's video, I'm gonna give you guys reasons why people fail the CPR AED mock test during the lifeguard course. This is the test where you walk into a room one-on-one with your instructor. Your instructor is gonna give you a scenario on whether or not the victim's breathing, choking, needs CPR, needs the AED, and basically you're gonna have to walk through the steps, count out loud, and show the instructor that you know how to provide care. Now this happens usually on the last day of the course or the second to last day of the course. And basically before this, you'll have an entire classroom session where you're going through all of the different dummies, child, infant, and adult, providing compressions, rescue breaths, knowing the different repetitions. So it's not like they're gonna throw this at you at an inconvenient time. You're gonna have plenty of time to practice and to study. Now, the first reason why people fail this is because they're just not prepared. It's not one of those tests that you can kind of just fly through, use common sense, and kind of hope that you get most of it. You have to know every single detail. So when you walk into a room, you have to make sure the scene is safe. You have to tell someone to call 911. You need to tap the victim on the shoulder, see whether or not they're okay. You have to spend 10 seconds checking for pulse and breathing, kind of putting your ear against their mouth to hear if they're breathing, while also looking at the chest to see if it's going up and down. So these are like very specific details that they will teach you in the course, so it's not super overwhelming, but if you casually study, you're not gonna be able to pass it. So what I recommend doing is that you take the handout that they'll give you during the course that has all the CPR AED information. You go home, you take a pillow from your room, you throw it on the floor, and you pretend that is the victim. So then you go through all the scenarios. So you check for pulse and breathing. Let's say they have a pulse and they're not breathing. You do rescue breaths. You do that for an adult, a victim, and a child. Then let's say the airway is blocked. You gotta practice using your finger, unclogging the airway, providing rescue breaths, providing the compressions if it escalates. So you wanna make sure you get all these bases covered. Now, the second reason why people fail is that they just get super nervous and they just go too fast. Usually when people get anxious, they talk faster, they move faster, and they're not thinking, they're not slow and controlled. So if you're someone who's taking the CPR mock test and you're just super nervous and you're counting very fast, the instructor will take it as if you're going too quick and you're not providing the ample amount of time to check for pulse and breathing, to do complete compressions. You're going too fast, so the whole tempo is off and you can be penalized for that. So my tip for this is to exaggerate when you're counting. Say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, really exaggerate it and drag it out. It's a lot better to be thorough than to be too quick and not do the full compression or the full breath. Now, the third tip is that your form is off. You're not checking for pulse and breathing in the proper spot. Let's say your hand's too up on the face or it's too low on the neck. So make sure you practice checking your own pulse and kind of replicate that on the dummy. So I can feel that right here. And also you can do it on your wrist, like right here. Make sure you can check your pulse on yourself and do the same for the dummies. Have the right hand placement, especially when you put the mask on the face and you're giving rescue breaths. Make sure that your thumb's in the right spot. Make sure you're holding the mask correctly and you're not doing one hand. Or let's say the mask is like off the victim's face. Make sure the equipment that you're using is placed correctly. And this especially applies to the AED pads. Make sure the pads are on correctly. And if it's an infant or a child, and let's say they don't have enough chest space, one goes in the front, one goes in the back. Now you might get trick questions along the way that might give you a scenario where it starts off with rescue breathing and then it ends up being a choking victim, and then you have to move into CPR, and then you got to use the AED, and then you got to watch out for jewelry. So just make sure there's a unit in the textbook, just skim it, look at the key terms, and make sure you know what to do if they have jewelry on. If it's a victim who suddenly loses a pulse all of a sudden, like things like that, just make sure you handle it. So those are definitely the main reasons why people fail the CPR test. I hope these tips help you. Just stay calm, just study, and I guarantee you, you will pass it on your first try. So like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you all in the next upload. Thanks so much. Peace out.